Hello and welcome. Welcome to this session on how to plan your best homeschool year yet, including the enrichment subjects in your homeschool. I am Rachel. I am so glad that you are here joining me today for this presentation. We're going to go ahead and jump right into it. Again, this is your hands-on homeschool, how to have your best homeschool year yet, how to include the subject areas of music, art, STEM, and PE in your homeschool on your schedule without a lot of stress or prep. All right, that is what we are here to do today. All right, I want this next year to go really well for you, to be smooth and effortless. I've got a lot of tips for you of putting all of your homeschool together to make it well-rounded and work for you. I am Rachel Figg. I am the creator of the Hands-On Homeschool. I love to partner with families to help them have the best education possible in their homes. I've been teaching my whole life. I love to teach, and I want to just share some things with you that have ended up working well for me in our homeschool so that you can have a better homeschool going forward. If you are brand new to the Hands-On Homeschool, we are all about hands-on learning. I'm going to be sharing a little bit more about what we do and what we offer, but as you can probably tell, we are all about hands-on learning. I do want to meet you and connect with you in some way. So if you are watching this presentation, please jot down or screenshot my Instagram or Facebook handle. It is at the Hands-On Homeschool. I would love to connect with you. Ask me your questions or just tell me what helped with this presentation, what worked for you, what you're going to implement, all of that kind of stuff. I would love, love, love to meet you. So it's at the Hands-On Homeschool, both on Facebook and Instagram. Like I was saying before, we are here to help you get music, art, STEM, and PE into your homeschools. And we believe that the best way to do this is through hands-on learning. So we have a special gift for you. Our virtual co-op teaches these subjects. We have a year-round program, a full year program teaching these classes so that your kids really just get immersed in that and are able to make connections and do all the things that we're going to share the benefits of today in our class. So at the end of this presentation, I'm going to give you the link to go to where you can get sample classes from our program. So like I said, we're talking about a well-rounded hands-on homeschool and how to easily, effortlessly include music, art, STEM, and PE in there. So if you've ever struggled with getting these classes in, trust me, I know how it is. These are the classes that are hard to include. If you've been frustrated, you've tried to do these classes in the past, you've tried to fit them in somewhere in your schedule, then you are in the right place, because I'm going to show you some principles. Whether you use our curriculum, our program, or co-op or not, you will be able to approach planning for these subjects coming from maybe a different viewpoint, maybe get some tips and tricks along the way in order to have a better year, including those enrichment areas. So I'm all about hands-on learning. I said that at the very beginning. It is the best way to achieve authentic learning that makes sense, where they can make connections to their other subjects, and learning makes sense and makes connections to the world around them. We want that authentic learning for our kids, and we want to set them up to become lifelong learners. So that's how we're going to do that, through hands-on learning. Hands-on learning is very low pressure, low performance. We're not after a high performance standard. It's all about participation and participation in that low stakes environment. And I'm going to show you why that is important. John Holt said, "We learn to do something by doing it. There is no other way." So we're going to be talking about participating in music, art, STEM, and PE, and how that's going to be the best way to balance out some of those performance areas, some of those things where, we have to perform. Our kids are going to have to know their math facts, know their spelling words, know these certain dates, and all of these things are performance. But we need to have a balance, and far too often this is what I see, that this is the thing that is causing the disconnect between having a kind of hard year and a great year. It's this participating together in hands-on learning, specifically in the enrichment areas. So I am going to start by talking about what your kids really want. Dr. Meg Meeker She's a parenting expert, a pediatrician. She has a fabulous podcast and a lot of resources for parents. She's written books and all of these things for you, for parents. She says children want more of you in your time. This is what children really want. They want to know that you like their company. They want to feel like they like your company, that you like having them with you. She says that your kids don't need more entertainment. They don't need more stuff. They don't need more things to do. She says that you don't need to run them all over town. They just want time spent with you. That uninterrupted quality time where you are not expecting a performance out of them. They want to be able to relax and enjoy your presence. If you think about it like a dating relationship, we wouldn't last very long in a dating relationship where we are having to measure up to a standard all the time and maybe remember things that they've told us in the past and having to be quizzed and remember and recall all these facts. Or if the person that we are with when we're dating doesn't really seem to want to be around us, what kind of relationship is that? It's different, but the same in some ways, right? It is different because we are homeschool parents. We do need to make sure that they are learning certain tasks and certain skills and concept and ideas. But we need to really focus on our relationship first and foremost. I love what Ainsley Arment says in her book, The Call of the Wild and Free. She said, "Our children need our time, not our intelligence. They bloom with love, not perfect language skills. They need mercy, not intellectual mastery. And they will learn, indeed, truly learn, when they are given time to explore ideas without constant fact-checking and examination." Isn't that so often what we do as homeschool parents? We do this to our kids, and we really end up stifling their learning. So I'm going to show you how to plan your best homeschool year like an ice cream sundae. All right, look at this ice cream sundae. It is pretty awesome. I would call that a masterpiece. It kind of looks a little obnoxious, but it's very full. It's very full, but you can tell that there is some art there too. It is crafted. It is put together. There was a plan, right? There was a plan. There's that donut on the bottom, the ice cream on top, and all of those toppings, cones on top. There's popcorn on there. So we're going to be talking about this, how to craft this and put it together. So when most people think about a well-rounded education, they're thinking about the core subjects and the enrichment subjects. And oftentimes they get separated. And I get it. It makes sense. The core subjects are oftentimes the required ones, and enrichments that would be nice. Some states do require both and have different distinctions of how many hours or whatever is required for those. Really, we are all after a well-rounded education for our kids, and it doesn't really matter what the state requirements are. If we want to include them, we get to include them. So we are after this, and a lot of times we start out by just planning the core subject areas first and then adding in the enrichment subjects later. I was watching a very famous TED Talk that Sir Ken Robinson did on how schools kill creativity. And he talks about how schools don't need to be reformed. They need to be transformed. They need to be just totally transformed. And the whole time I'm watching it, I'm thinking, homeschooling. This is what we need. But yeah, so he was saying in this TED Talk that there should not be a hierarchy of subjects. So really, this is not what we really want here. We really want all of the subjects to have that importance. I'm going to read to you exactly what he said. He said, "We need to eliminate the existing hierarchy of subjects. Elevating some disciplines over others only reinforces outmoded assumptions of industrialism and offends the principle of diversity. The arts, sciences, humanities, physical education, languages, and maths all have equal and central contributions to make to a student's education." And I just think that is so good because, it is so true that oftentimes we look at these different subjects here and we think, okay, well, I'm just going to do the core subject areas. And how has that worked out for you in the past? If you have tried that, if you've tried just doing the core subject areas and just said, I'm not going to do the enrichment right now, your homeschool probably got like a little shaky and chaotic after a while. So they all work together, and I'm going to show you how they kind of go back and forth, but they are just so important to do together. One example of how this has gone well and not so well is with me and my own family. So this is my family. My husband Chris and I have been married for 15 years now, and we have 4 kids: Owen, Miles, Jonas, and Isla. And we have been homeschooling since my oldest was little, since the very beginning. And I started kind of planning everything out when he was like 3 years old. And we started with a very light K4 that was very hands-on. We did a little co-op. We went to our children's museum. He played sports. I had all of these books, and we just read and explored together. It was really laid back, relaxed, and a lot of fun. I felt very creative, and I felt very confident in teaching my 4-year-old. Then when kindergarten came around, I started to get a little bit more serious because I had to start recording what we worked on. And I was still pulling in fun ideas. I still had my books. We did our co-op. We went to the children's museum, sports and music and some art and all of these things. We were pulling it all together, and I felt pretty confident. But as time went on, I started to notice that my other friends that were doing homeschool with their kindergartners were also using a formal curriculum. And I wasn't, and at the time, and even though I had it, and I was thinking about starting it at some point, I started to just kind of compare myself and start thinking like way in the future. Like, I'm talking like, if I don't start this now, where's it going to be in 4th grade, 5th grade, 8th grade, high school? Is he going to graduate on time? And it was a mess in my brain. But I got really like kind of tunnel vision and said, you know what, we're just going to buckle down and we're just going to do the curriculum during school time. And then he can go and play and do all those hands-on things that I have. Okay. So I was like I put a wall up right there in the middle. We had school time and everything else. And we started butting heads. And this was just really bad. And the curriculum I picked out was multisensory. It was hands-on curriculum. But it was because I was focusing on having him perform during this time of the day. And then I just let him go and do his own thing and explore on his own during the rest of the day. So all I was requiring of him was performance, and I never came in and balanced it with participating alongside him and weaving those things in throughout the day. Things were kind of bad for a while. We were butting heads a lot through kindergarten, the rest of kindergarten, which is so sad. And then through 1st grade, it did not get better. I tried lots of different things and just really didn't get better. But I knew that something had to, because Miles, my second son, was getting ready to start kindergarten. And I said, I can't keep going like this. It's not going to last if I do. So that's when I really took a step back and started thinking and reevaluating how we were doing school, and came up with a different plan. And this included a lot of time spent together, connecting, doing hands-on activities, playing together as part of the school day. My kids were little, so we would do playing and schoolwork, and playing, schoolwork, hands-on games, things like that, weaving them all in. My creativity came back, my confidence came back. It was so much better, and it was because I was not requiring only facts, and that wasn't the only thing that I was requiring of him. We balanced it out with participating and learning hands-on together. So this is kind of the image I love to paint here, is that we are cultivating a garden. We are not standing over individual seeds and telling them to grow. It doesn't work that way. So the first mistake that you can tell that I made, and maybe some of you have made as well, and it's okay, we've all been there, but comparing yourself to other people. And that's what got it started for me. And I see this on Instagram or Facebook, where people are looking at what other people have done on social media and thinking, ooh, I should be doing that. But here's the thing, what they're showcasing on their social media is what makes them unique. And you have that too. You have something creative that you do with your kids that you put on social media. This is your unique ice cream flavor. Every ice cream flavor is unique, and it should be celebrated. They're all delicious, right? So we want to be our own ice cream flavor and stop comparing ourselves to others. The 2 types of homeschool moms I see here are the frazzled scheduler and the creative leader. So the frazzled scheduler is somebody who is operating from a to-do list. When they go to put their homeschool together, they're thinking about, okay, I have subjects that I want to teach, and then, okay, so this subject, I'm going to get this curriculum, and this subject, oh, someone told me this one, this subject, oh, okay, this, and now we have to just go through and check all the boxes and do all the days. Okay. Then we're going to do, and then, oh, I need this subject. I forgot this one. Or, oh, so and so's doing that. I'm going to react and do this and pull this in. By about November, everything is like blah, and crazy and frazzled, and you don't want to do anymore. So we don't want to homeschool like that. All right. My frazzled scheduler here is got her Amazon box. She's got all her curriculum and all her stuff. She wants a hands-on, well-rounded homeschool. Okay, don't get me wrong. She just is reacting and comparing, and we don't want to be that way. All right, there is a better way. So when we start comparing ourselves to others, it kills our creativity. So stop that. Stop that comparing and start creating. Whatever you do that makes you unique, that's where you need to put your focus. We want to be the creative leader in our homeschools. Sir Ken Robinson, I mentioned him at the beginning. He says the role of a creative leader is not to have all of the ideas. It's to create a culture where everyone can have ideas and feel they are valued. So he also outlines 3 steps to becoming a creative leader. Encourage creativity, and then identify creativity and foster that creativity. So by encouraging creativity, we're having lots and lots and lots of opportunities for them to explore and be creative. Then we start to notice and identify the specific areas where they show maybe the most creativity, maybe unique creativity there. And we're going to foster that and light that spark and just let it burn. But first, we have to do this to ourselves, because our kids kind of mirror what we do, our attitudes, our emotions, and all of that. They're a mirror. They reflect our attitudes. So if you are like, ugh, I don't like math because, it's hard and you have all these ideas about how that's hard for you, be creative and start exploring it with your kids with more of an open mind, and they will as well. And Julie Bogart says, if homeschooling stops being a source of joy, begin shifting your attention to the awesome adult you want to be. Just that shift can inject energy into a flagging homeschool. So we're going to lead by example. Start playing with your kids. This is a great time in the summer to do this, just to kind of co-create your summer. Build together, what are we going to do this week? What should our theme of the week be? And then read books, watch documentaries, play games, do activities and things like that kind of center around a theme. Why not? It's fun, and it's kind of like creating a schedule, and it'll help you, even with that in your summer. So you can put things in their way for them to be creative, opportunities for them to be creative. Start to notice where you are creative and where your children show creativity, and provide more creative opportunities for them. And when we're putting together our homeschool year, we want to look at these subjects and think, where do I feel creative and confident? What am I most excited about? And then that's where you're going to put your creative energy into. Maybe this is the subject that you kind of DIY a curriculum. You're not going to do that for all of them unless you feel very creative and confident in all of the areas. But we want to help you here. And this is one way that the virtual co-op can help you. When you join the co-op, you allow us to showcase our creative expertise. Our expert teachers absolutely love what they do and love sharing it with your kids. And so this allows you to focus more of your creativity and inject that into your homeschool. All right, so we're going to zoom back out and look at this well-rounded education that I showed you before, and we're going to kind of look at how we build each piece, each subject. All right, so we have the 2 homeschool moms. If you identified more with that frazzled scheduler, maybe you were living from a to-do list or reacting when you start comparing yourselves to other homeschools. Maybe you're only doing the core classes and thinking that's going to be the best thing to do for now. Or if you're trying to include the enrichment areas, you're on Pinterest or YouTube and trying to pull things in, or maybe you're running all over town and your kids are feeling worn out and they don't really want to be participating in all of those things all over town. So the creative leader has a better way. This is through participation and having that time together and that connection together being more important than the to-do list. Working to create that garden, cultivate that lifestyle that works well and allows for learning to just thrive. So we're going to go next to the base here, whatever the base of the sundae is. Here I have a waffle bowl. We're going to talk about curriculum. The second mistake I see is that maybe you're not being strategic when choosing the curriculum. So we said the most important part of the homeschool is your relationship with your kids, and the curriculum is a secondary thing, right? You wouldn't want this waffle bowl that I had up there, but you wouldn't want that by itself. It's no good without the ice cream in it. So our curriculum is a secondary thing. But how are we going to choose? All right. So we have to kind of approach this from a different sort of standpoint because we are the creative leaders, right? We are the creative leaders in our homeschools. So we're not going to do things the way we did it before. So we're going to start with some math. Just it's okay. It's going to be okay. So we're doing things differently, right? So we are going to first list out all of the subjects that we want to include in our year. And I've mixed them all up because that's what Ken Robinson said. We should not elevate anything higher than the other. Then we are going to kind of think about how much time each subject is going to take. So when you're considering curriculum, you need to be strategic about how much time you have. This is a very limited resource. Our kids make it even more so because they have limited attention spans. And we have to keep all of these things in mind when we're planning our homeschool. And I have a worksheet that is going to help you with this. That you can do you'll have total access to, but we need to be strategic about the time. I made a mistake this year when I chose our history curriculum. I thought it was 30 minutes a week, and it ended up being 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. And it was a lot. I had to go back and adjust some other things in order to be strategic and be that creative leader up there at the top, right? So these are going to be the basis of our Sunday. This is the brownie, the cookie, the banana, the waffle cup, the ice cream cone. It's typically how we name our Sundays, but nobody would rather have just a banana or an empty cone. Remember, they want the ice cream. You have to be, and you and your relationship with your kids is paramount. That is the most important thing. Remember, you are using your curriculum as a tool. It is, you're teaching children, not a curriculum. And here again in the virtual co-op, we can take the pressure off of trying to find curriculum for every single subject. And this, and we also teach it. So we take all of that off of your out of your hands. You don't have to even worry, here we go, about the enrichment subjects. We do the planning, we do the research, we do the teaching, and you can actually enjoy those classes together with your kids or chase your toddler around the house, which is sometimes happening when we try to teach, when we try to homeschool, right? Those younger siblings are always into something. And this allows you to focus more of your time on the other subject areas. So when you're choosing a curriculum, we want to choose one that allows for hands-on learning to flourish. Things that are meaningful, they make connections, they help your children make connections, and they're multisensory, that multiple modes of learning. They're receiving information in a lot of different ways. So now we've talked about the ice cream, we've talked about the base, and now we're going to talk about the toppings. These are the hands-on resources that we're going to include in our homeschool just to make it extra fun, extra exciting. These are the sprinkles on top, the things that you know that they're fun and you don't even realize that the kids don't even realize that they're learning. This is the sneaky part that we just kind of weave them in throughout the day, and it really helps to balance it all out and make it more palatable. Although an ice cream sundae is always palatable. Plutarch has this quote. He said, "The mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be kindled." And this is the attitude that we should have as homeschool parents. We should be trying to kindle a fire and a love for learning. And a lot of times that fire gets squashed when we're asking a lot of performance and not having that hands-on learning time, that hands-on participation where the stress and the pressure for our kids is low. So these are things like books, games, acting things out. My kids do puppet shows sometimes, working out the different activities in like maybe that come with their curriculum or in their lessons, tinkering, playing with Legos, moving, dancing, playing instruments, the art, all of these things that you see here. These are the tools that you can use to make sure that hands-on learning happens. So like I said, this is often sneaky. This is sneaky learning, and it can be, these things can be used to deepen connections with your kids through that low pressure participation with them. And we don't want them to feel like these are always school related. Sometimes we will play a game just to play the game. Are my kids learning through that game? Absolutely. They are learning a lot. Maybe they're learning about something before I teach it. Maybe I'm using something to a game just to teach. I've done that before. Or maybe it's something that is going to reinforce something I've already taught. So a game can be used, and any of these hands-on resources can be used in a lot of different ways. We don't always see the learning that's taking place, and we can't always specifically map out how that's going to look because everybody's brain is different. It's wired different. But there's people that have to move to think. And sometimes after they've been doing, math or something that requires a lot of thought and processes, and they have to go and move, and their brain will actually help them understand while they're moving. So incorporate that into your day. You're not like drilling them while they're running. That would not make that fun. It's just doing it for the sake of doing it and allowing the brain to do its work. All right, just allow the brain to do its work. I was talking with another homeschool mom about this, and I said for games, for example, sometimes we do play games to teach or reinforce a certain skill, but not always. I don't want my kids to hate playing games. We got the Scrambled States of America, for example, and my kids now know their states and capitals and mottos because that's in the game. It was way, way better than what his co-op teacher suggested, which was make flashcards and study those. So we don't want to do that. We want to play a game. That was a lot more fun. But, we play Scrabble or Bananagrams. We don't practice our spelling words with that game. We just play it. I remember being a kid and playing Scrabble with my aunts and my mom and my grandma and cousins, and we were playing Scrabble, and I was sitting there in between turns reading the dictionary. That was not part of school. I was reading the dictionary because I wanted to get better words so I'd get more points so I could win the game. So was I learning? Absolutely. Was my mom making me do it for homeschool? No, I wasn't even homeschooled at that point. But my brain was working and I was learning. So the key here is we're making these things part of our life, not just always thinking about school, although it may be in the back of our mind somewhere. Elizabeth Foss says in her book, when the atmosphere encourages learning, the learning is inevitable. And I just love that. It goes back to that idea of the garden and cultivating that and not standing over the seed trying to make it grow. So this is the third step to planning our best year, and that is adding in resources that align, things that allow them to think critically and develop communication skills, collaboration, and be creative. This is what we're looking for hands-on resources. And here we have all of those things down there at the bottom. They're all just going to help round out your life and round out your family culture, your lifestyle that you're living, this homeschool culture that you want to have. And again, in our virtual co-op, we have hands-on activities that are woven into each lesson. So we are giving you those lessons. We aren't just teaching them about the composers or the music or the artwork or about a sport or about how to. I don't even know how you would do this in STEM without that. But these are how we always have hands-on application to go along with the lessons that we teach. And this just really helps them to strengthen their connections between all of the other subjects and, of course, the world around them. So that is how we put together our steps to planning our best homeschool year. When I was talking about STEM just then, I realized I never really fully explained what STEM is, and sometimes I've had questions about that. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math, but it is not those subjects. You're not going to teach science and say we're doing STEM. It's a totally different subject using those four things. So STEM is about problem solving. It's about using what the child knows about science and math, and using the engineering design process and technology to come up with with an idea, with a solution to a real world problem. So in STEM class in our virtual co-op, we have a lot of fun projects to help kids think creatively and problem solve. And that's why I said, I don't think you could do this without a hands-on component to it. I don't know how that would look. But that is what STEM is. I hope that makes more sense. And then the third, let me skip back over here. The third mistake that I see happening is that often we try to do things all ourselves, and we think we have to pile in on everything on ourselves because we're the homeschool mom, so we need to do it all ourselves. And when I was trying to do that, actually, when I kind of got my creativity back when my kids were little, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do music, and I'm gonna get some, and I started weaving in all of these hands-on activities and trying to do it all. And I'm a music teacher. I have my degree in music education, so I was pulling music in. And I was like, I could, figure out how to do art too, and I'm gonna pull all of these things in. And it just got really overwhelming, which is eventually where I got the idea to start this virtual co-op, because I knew I couldn't do it all myself. And I love that homeschooling gives us the freedom to choose what works best for our children. David Allen is a productivity expert, and he says, so this is so true. You can do anything, but not everything. It is so true. We need some sort of help when it comes to homeschooling our kids. Even if we put together, like I was saying, put together some of your homeschool, you DIY some of it where you feel creative. But we're going to choose some curriculum, some things, some programs, some lessons that help us as that base, and hands-on learning as the toppings. That's going to be our life, but we can always, our lifestyle and our culture at home. But we can always outsource. We can always do outside things. We can always use other resources. All right. And we are going to kind of shift to talk about how we're going to put that all together, because there's one more part of the Sunday that I haven't included yet, and that is the dish. So far we've been looking at how all children need a well-rounded education that includes all of those subjects that I had listed, right, without doing a hierarchy, and specifically how adding in participation in hands-on activities is going to be the best way to balance out the kind of high performance things that we do need to require of our kids, so that we can have good relationships with our kids and maintain that connection. So when you include the enrichment subjects and you kind of do all those things I just talked about, I truly believe that you are going to do three things for your homeschool. It's going to breathe new life into your homeschool. If you have not been including enrichment subject areas, and you like you've been doing a lot of performance heavy stuff, then adding in lower stress participation with hands-on learning is going to really just breathe life into your homeschool. I have seen this past year with doing the virtual co-op classes. It has just been like, okay, we can just watch our art class and do our art project, and okay, it's just that shift in the brain, which is actually my next point. It's a break from their serious learning, even though they're still learning. It's that other side of the brain. We're switching over there and giving one half of the brain a break while we kind of like access that more creative or that movement side. And then third, it's going to support all of the other areas of learning. And we've talked about how mysterious the brain is and how the connections and stuff are made. And it's just so interesting and so fascinating. But there's multiple studies that show that, that these are the things that improve math and reading proficiency, higher GPA, improved mental health, and all the other things that I have listed here. So it's just so amazing and so important to include these with our homeschool. Just to give that all of these that breathing that new life and giving them the break and supporting all of the other areas, it's so important. I hope you're starting to see how important it is. But maybe, we're going back to the bowl. How can we structure this all together? How can we do it all? I've been alluding to this. This is exactly why I created the Hands-on Homeschool virtual co-op. We want to partner with you and take off all of those enrichment areas. If we can just get rid of those. As far as your responsibility, you can focus your creativity in the core subject areas. You can focus your curriculum teaching and all of that on the core subject areas, and pulling in hands-on resources for the core subject areas and for creating that culture in your home from a place of creative leadership. So that's what we do at the co-op. We want to do that for you. And I want you to meet one of our members. I want you to meet Amy. She is one of our homeschool moms, and she had some things to say about the virtual co-op. She shared this with me, and I thought it was so good that I wanted to share it with you as well. I'm going to take myself off of the screen here and kind of move my mic over so that you can hear her. But here is Amy.
Hi, I'm Amy, and I'm a homeschool mom to 5 amazing kids, aged 13 all the way down to 4. The 4-year-old isn't truly in school yet, but he totally thinks he is. I have been so overjoyed this school year to be a part of the hands-on homeschool co-op. To have classes that are helping my children get subjects like art and music and STEM and PE consistently is amazing. I have never had a school year where they've had those subjects consistently. We've maybe done 2 art classes in our entire homeschool experience. So this has been incredible, and it's been beautiful to see how well the classes work for my wide range of personalities and ages and skills and learning styles. It's just been really truly mind-blowing for me. It's been such a gift to be able to be a part of this co-op. I love the flexibility. I love that it doesn't matter if we're having a crazy morning and we get started late. I can just go online and start the class when we're ready for it because it's all right there. It's on demand. That has been so, so helpful. The classes are easy to follow, and the teacher notes that are included that tell you what supplies you need, it's just so user-friendly and so helpful. The classes are so professionally done, and my kids love the teachers. They love them. Last school year was really hard for our family. School was drudgery. It just was. And this has freshened up our school year so beautifully. It's been such a gift to call the kids for school every day and tell them we're starting with art today or we're starting with music today. And they're so excited to come and they're excited to start. And by the time we're done with our co-op class of the day, they're ready to move into their other subjects because they're already in that school frame of mind. I am immensely grateful for this opportunity, and I'm so impressed with how Rachel put this together. I think she's done an amazing job, and I think the thing that is probably the most incredible to me, apart from all the other things I already mentioned, is how affordable this is. You're getting so much value for such an affordable cost, and I am just so grateful that we've been able to make this a part of our school year. It has changed so much about how we look at school, and it's changing how much my kids are connecting things between other subjects just because of how these classes have been put together and how they're building on each other. So I'm grateful, and I cannot recommend the hands-on homeschool co-op enough.
I just love that. I love Amy. She is just so sweet, and I have loved seeing how her and her family have been using the virtual co-op classes this past year, and seeing what she has posted on Facebook, and just it's been so fun to see that from her and all of the other parents that have been posting and sharing things with me. It's so fun to see these kinds of things going on in homeschools, and it just makes me so, so happy. So I'm going to we're going to switch gears a little bit, and I'm going to show you the worksheet that I told you about earlier. I'm going to pull that up here on my screen, and I'm just going to really quickly walk you through it because I don't want to take a lot of time here to do this because I will have instructions for you as well. But this is something that you will have access to. I will share this with you, and you can make a copy of it so that you have your own copy and it doesn't mess up the master the master copy. But what it is it's a worksheet to help you plan your best year, and it goes through all of the things that we talked about in this workshop today. So what our curriculum options are. The enrichment subjects is the hands-on homeschool, right? If you have more than one, you can list more than one because this is just to help us compare. We're going to talk about, you're going to write down how many lessons there are to complete, the estimated time per lesson, the number of days you want to include this subject, the number of days per week. So your estimated time for the week, right? Your time commitment. Then down here, there's another tab, time blocking. And this is a sample. You do not have to do it this way, but this is just an example. I said my kids can, do some of their independent work, their individual work, before we even get started. So I put that up here in that focus study time. We use the virtual co-op to gather our kids together. And that's what Amy was talking about. She starts with these. So she does this in the morning, and you start with the whole group all together, all of your kids. Then we kind of transition to what I call table time, although it's never really done at the table, but whatever. Homeschooling. This is when they're doing their independent work, and I'm going around and teaching them new concepts that are individual for their grade level and their skills. All right, so these might require breaks in here. And if we don't get to them, then they do them later in the day, which is what I put here for that focus time. But we don't always do that. If they can knock it out, between this time and this time, then they're good to go, right? And then I have the afternoon time in here where we do the virtual co-op activities if we don't do them here, which is a great option for anybody who has babies and toddlers that might get into stuff here that might be napping down here. All right, so it's just a suggestion, but all of these hands-on learning things that we talked about, all the sprinkles and marshmallows and chocolate chips and whipped cream and cherry on top, that's all of this stuff. And of course it can happen any time of the day, but if I were to condense it, I want it to look similar to, something like this, even if we don't do it at this time of day. I'm not hard and fast about any rules or schedules or anything like that. Oftentimes we're doing, stuff in the afternoons and evenings because our mornings get crazy. So I'm not talking about a rigid schedule. I'm talking about using this to block so that you know what you're getting into for the year. So you have enough time. If you go back here and you look up all of those green those green subjects and you're like at 5-6 hours, maybe we need to rethink some things. That's what I want you to use this for. So I included a blank copy for you to do your own here. And then we're going to go through and then you can start your weekly planning. Like, how is this going to look? So I made this all up. Said maybe I want to do science twice a week and history twice a week, and then do our virtual co-op classes here. And then on Friday, we'll do our STEM project that we, started the day before. Maybe we'll do art for 2 days because the lesson might take longer. But just ways to map out, and I kept that same color coding for you. So this is yours, and I did give you a clean copy of that as well, so you can fill it in exactly how you want it. So I'm not going to take much more time to talk about that, but I do hope that is helpful, and I hope that you use that to kind of take what we've talked about today a little bit further. And let's see, let me make sure I get that back where I want it. There we go. All right. Okay. All right, so I want to share with you a little bit more about the virtual co-op. So I'm going to kind of walk you through it, what we have, what it offers to you. First of all, it is completely done for you. These are video classes that have a lot of things that go along with it, but they're primarily video. They're done for you. It's a full school year of classes in music, art, STEM, and PE, and altogether there's over 100 lessons in the first year. All right. They are self-paced and flexible to your schedule. So if you say, I don't think I can get to all that, what if I skip one? What if I don't do one? Nobody's going to be looking over your shoulder, making sure you get everything done. It is all just there for you to do when you want to do them. They're all taught by expert teachers. I teach the music and STEM classes. They have been so much fun to put together. They've been fun to plan, and I absolutely love teaching these classes. Catherine is our art teacher, and she has done an amazing job with art. The projects that my kids end up with are just gorgeous, beautiful. I love all of the different materials that she uses. I would never have bought oil pastels or air dry clay, but it's just so good to see all of these artworks, and my budding little artists are just, it's fantastic. She is an amazing artist and an amazing teacher as well. And then Katie Whitney is our PE teacher. She has done such a good job taking PE and bringing it virtual and doing such a good job with it. Each class starts out with a warm-up. She teaches new skills, she teaches about athletes and sports and how to play the games, and then how has the kids go and do some games or activities to practice the skill that she taught. And she has just done a fantastic job with PE in our virtual co-op. Fourth, we have low prep and low stress hands-on activities. You're not going to have to go out and buy a bunch of stuff. Most of the time you can use what you have on hand. You may need to go out and get a few things that you don't have, or you can adapt it however you please. Or you can skip that lesson if you don't want to go there, We are the teachers. We have the information. We have the supplies that you need. We tell you all these things, but ultimately you are the one that facilitates these lessons, and it really makes you be the rock star here, which is what we want. We want you to be the one that's like, wow, Mom, thanks for getting us these classes. They're really great. Not us getting that. We want you to be the creative leader in your homeschool and get the recognition for that. And we also support you and your whole family. We provide more than just enrichment lessons for your kids. We have a lot of ways that we do this. We have our own Facebook group that you can be a part of. We have other like workshops and master classes, things like that. Lots of things that we provide for you just to help you along your homeschooling journey. Real quick, I want to share with you some things that our current members have been saying. You are an amazing teacher. My kids hang on your every word. This mom said, co-op is something we are so beyond excited about. This mom said, I just ordered a bunch of fun materials for music and art. Your work on this homeschool set is incredible. It is so well done. Thank you to all three of you for putting in so much time. I can't thank this co-op enough for the cool activities my kids get to do. I would have never been able to get them to focus this much on a project, let alone on a Monday. Yay for art class. And joining this group was the best fresh idea for our 2020 school year. It has been such a joy and so inspiring for my kids. And that's what I want for you. And that's why I'm going to invite you to get a sneak peek into our program. You can go to thehandsonhomeschool.com/sneak peek and get some sample classes. I'm going to walk you through our co-op just real quick so that you can see what it's like on the inside before you do that. This is a very quick overview of what is included inside the Hands-On Homeschool virtual co-op. This is our main hub. We have a lot of support for the parents over here. And down here are the 4 classes that are included. Up at the top, I have already opened these just to save time and to keep things from getting mixed up and kind of wonky. So first we'll look at PE. In PE we have a welcome area, some extra bonus activities, and then 12 lessons in the fall and 12 lessons in the spring. So you can see that it is a full year of PE lessons. Next, we'll look at STEM. In STEM, we have an introduction section, as well as the storybook STEM, which we read the novel The Tale of Despero and do 3 STEM challenges, along with additional literature, support, and other projects that are optional. The fall has 12 lessons. In the spring, we do another novel study with STEM challenges and 12 lessons in the spring. Next up is music. We have some introduction area with some sample bonus classes here. We have 12 lessons in the fall and 12 lessons in the spring. And then finally, art. Same format here. Introduction with some bonus lessons, and then 12 in the fall and 12 available in the spring. So that is a quick overview of what is inside the Hands-On Homeschool virtual co-op. I hope that was helpful for you to see inside and see what it's like in there. I do hope you take a part of the sneak peek. We also have our website here, thehandsonhomeschool.com. If you watch this and you're like, I need this in my life and I don't need to do the sneak peek and I want to join right now, you can head there to find out how to join the Hands-On Homeschool virtual co-op for this coming school year. So I do hope that you connect with me, take time to connect with me. Let me know what your biggest takeaway was, what you're most excited to plan. Was the worksheet that I included helpful to you? Do you have any questions? Please reach out. Please let me know. I would love to support you more on your journey of homeschooling. I really hope that you include the enrichment subject areas in your homeschool this year, and I hope that it is easy. I hope that this helped put it all together for you. I would really love, of course, to see you inside the Hands-On Homeschool virtual co-op this year, but overall, I really just hope that you have your best homeschool year yet. Thanks for joining me.